Have you ever felt like your legs are getting weaker, even though you're trying to stay active? Maybe you still take your daily walks or do your stretches, but your knees ache more, your muscles feel softer, and it takes just a little longer to get up from the couch. You might be thinking, well, that's just age catching up with me. But what if I told you some of the pain, stiffness, and weakness you feel might not be from aging alone? What if it's coming from what's on your plate? You see, our legs carry us through life, but many of us are unknowingly feeding them foods that slowly break them down from the inside out. I'm not talking about junk food that we all know isn't good. I'm talking about common foods that seem harmless or even healthy, but can actually be dangerous for older adults. These foods act like slow poisons, quietly damaging your joints, weakening your muscles, and making you more likely to fall or lose your balance. Let me tell you about Mr. John, a 68-year-old retired electrician I met through our VITAGO community. Every morning he drank a cup of instant soup and had a piece of white bread with ham. He thought it was light and easy on his stomach, but over time, his legs started cramping, his knees were stiffer, and walking uphill became a challenge. He told me, "I don't understand. I haven't changed anything in years." And that's exactly the point. The foods that damage us most often aren't the wild, strange, unfamiliar things. They're the everyday items that have slowly crept into our diets, bringing hidden salt, sugar, preservatives, and chemicals with them. And over time, these build up and begin to affect our muscles, our joints, and our circulation. Let's start with one of the biggest offenders, high-sodium packaged foods. These include instant noodles, canned soups, processed sauces, frozen meals, even healthy-looking crackers or snacks. Sodium, or salt, in excess causes your body to hold onto water, and that puts pressure on your legs. It can lead to swelling in your ankles, stiffness in your knees, and even make it harder for blood to flow properly. Poor circulation equals weaker legs. And if you're dealing with high blood pressure or taking medications that affect your kidneys or heart, this becomes even more dangerous. Your legs are often the first place this damage shows up, through heaviness, cramping, or that tight, puffy feeling around your feet and calves. But because it happens slowly, you might not even connect it to what you're eating. I once spoke with a lovely woman named Mrs. Emma, who shared that after switching from canned soup to a homemade version with fresh vegetables, herbs, and just a pinch of salt, her nighttime leg cramps almost disappeared. It wasn't magic. It was simply giving her body what it needed and removing what was hurting it. These small changes can mean the difference between legs that feel stiff and tired and legs that feel strong and ready to move. Another food that might be weakening your legs without you even realizing it: refined sugars. Now, I'm not just talking about candy or cakes. I'm talking about the sugar hiding in things like fruit-flavored yogurt, packaged cereals, bottled sauces, and even so-called healthy granola bars. Sugar may give you a burst of energy at first, but it's a trick. What really happens is your blood sugar spikes, then crashes. That crash leaves your muscles tired, shaky, and often aching. Over time, too much sugar causes inflammation, the kind that settles quietly into your joints and slowly breaks down the cushion between your bones. And here's something even more worrying. Sugar also contributes to insulin resistance, especially as we age. When that happens, your body struggles to use the food you eat to build and maintain muscle. That means even if you're trying to get more protein or do light exercise, your legs can't benefit as much if sugar is getting in the way. I once met a retired schoolteacher named Mrs. Laura. She loved having just a little condensed milk in her coffee, twice a day. She also enjoyed instant oatmeal packets and sweetened soy milk. Nothing extreme, right? But her legs often felt heavy, and she complained of burning in her feet. After keeping a food journal, she was shocked by how often sugar showed up. When she swapped those sugary items for plain yogurt with fruit, unsweetened soy milk, and whole oats, her symptoms started to improve in just a few weeks. You see, it's not about cutting out every sweet thing forever. It's about becoming more aware of the hidden sugars that sneak in and cause slow damage. Your body, and especially your legs, need stable energy, not sugar roller coasters. And speaking of unstable, there's one more group of foods we need to talk about before we move on. These are foods made with refined white flour, like white bread, white rice, traditional noodles, and pastries. They may taste comforting and familiar, but the truth is, they turn into sugar very quickly in your body. That means the same inflammation, the same crashes, the same weakness in your muscles. And because these foods often come without fiber, vitamins, or minerals, they don't feed your muscles. They just fill you up and leave your body still hungry for real nutrients. The next time you're choosing between a white rice dish and a mixed grain bowl, or between white toast and whole grain bread, remember, small swaps lead to strong legs. You don't have to give up everything you love. You just have to choose a little wiser. Now that we've uncovered some of the foods quietly weakening your legs, like salty packaged meals, hidden sugars, and refined white flours, it's time to look even deeper, because the next few might surprise you even more. They're things we often eat thinking they're good for us, but they may be doing more harm than good, especially after 60. Sometimes the foods we trust the most are the ones quietly working against us. I've met so many older adults who genuinely believe they're eating well. They skip fast food. They cook at home. They avoid soda and chips. But what many don't realize is that some everyday foods, even ones labeled healthy, can slowly weaken your legs and joints if you're not careful. Let's take a closer look at one of the most overlooked offenders, cooking oils, especially the ones hiding in processed foods or used for frying. Now, I'm not talking about a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil on your salad. I'm talking about highly processed oils like corn oil, soybean oil, canola, and vegetable blends that are often found in fried foods, frozen dinners, and restaurant meals. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed in excess and without enough omega-3s to balance them out, fuel chronic inflammation. And inflammation is the enemy of strong legs. It attacks the tissues around your joints, contributes to muscle breakdown, and leaves you feeling stiff, sore, and unstable. I recently spoke with Frank, a 72-year-old retired truck driver from Ohio. Frank loved to cook, especially crispy fried chicken and hash browns on the weekends. He thought since he made all at home, it had to be better than takeout. But what he didn't realize was that the vegetable oil he reused over and over was making things worse. His knees ached. He couldn't walk around the grocery store without leaning on the cart. And he'd wake up in the morning with swollen ankles. After talking through a few changes, Frank decided to switch things up. He baked his chicken instead, started using light olive oil, and tossed out that bottle of reused frying oil. Within a few weeks, the swelling went down. He was able to walk around the store without resting every 5 minutes. He even started gardening again. It wasn't about giving up flavor. It was about giving his body a break from the fire inside, the inflammation that had been building up for years. Another food group that causes trouble, especially for older adults, is deli meats and smoked meats. I know they're convenient. You slice a few pieces of turkey or ham, add it to your sandwich, and lunch is done. But most processed meats are full of sodium, preservatives like nitrates, and artificial flavorings that do more harm than good, especially to your legs. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 69-year-old retired nurse from Arizona. She used to eat a turkey sandwich almost every day. Store-bought deli turkey, white bread, and a little mayo. But she was constantly feeling tired, and her joints were getting stiffer by the month. We took a closer look at her lunch. That sandwich alone had more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium, almost half of the daily recommended amount for older adults. She switched to fresh grilled chicken breast, whole grain bread, and avocado. It didn't feel like a sacrifice, but her energy came back, and the afternoon joint stiffness she'd been living with for years started to ease. These stories matter because they show us that you don't have to overhaul your life to make progress. Small changes, done with intention, can bring big results. And it all starts by asking, what am I feeding my body today? Is this food helping me move better, or slowly making it harder? Because at the heart of it all, this is about more than food. It's about freedom. The freedom to stand up without pain, to walk across a parking lot with confidence, to dance at your granddaughter's wedding. And that freedom starts with what's on your plate. There's another category of food that often slips under the radar: artificially sweetened snacks and drinks. You might be thinking, but I gave up regular soda. I drink diet now. Or maybe you switched to sugar-free cookies or low-calorie pudding cups because you're trying to eat better. And I get it. The labels say no sugar, low carb, guilt-free. But there's a hidden cost. Many artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin, can disrupt your gut health, increase cravings, and even interfere with muscle recovery. Some studies have shown links between long-term consumption of artificial sweeteners and higher levels of inflammation in the body. And remember what we've been saying about inflammation. It's one of the biggest culprits behind weak legs and aching joints. Take Tom, for example, a 66-year-old retired accountant from Florida. He proudly told me he hadn't touched sugar in 5 years. But every day, he drank 2 or 3 cans of diet soda and snacked on sugar-free candy to avoid cravings. Still, his legs ached, he had frequent cramps, and his energy crashed in the afternoon. When he made the switch to flavored water with lemon and cut back on the diet snacks, the difference was almost immediate. His legs didn't feel as restless at night. His balance improved. He even started walking twice as long without feeling drained. It's not that diet drinks or sugar-free cookies are pure evil, but when you rely on them every day, your body never gets the chance to reset naturally. And your muscles, especially your leg muscles, need real nourishment, not chemical shortcuts. So if you're reaching for a sugar-free option, do it occasionally, not out of habit. Try fruit-infused water, herbal teas, or plain yogurt with berries instead. These foods support your body instead of tricking it. Now let's talk about something that seems innocent. Too much caffeine. A little coffee or tea in the morning is perfectly fine. In fact, it can be helpful. But if you're drinking multiple cups of strong coffee, energy drinks, or even popping caffeine pills to stay alert, it may be doing the opposite for your legs. Caffeine in high doses can dehydrate you, which leads to muscle cramps and stiffness, especially in the calves and thighs. It can also interfere with calcium absorption, which affects your bones and muscles over time. Linda, a 70-year-old former high school teacher in Colorado, told me she relied on coffee all day to stay awake. 1 cup turns into 4 or 5. She laughed. But she also mentioned how often she had to stretch her legs throughout the day to relieve tension. Once she cut back, keeping it to 1 cup in the morning and switching to herbal tea after lunch, she said she could feel the difference almost immediately in her mobility and sleep. And sleep, by the way, is deeply tied to muscle recovery. If caffeine is robbing you of rest, your legs won't get the repair they need at night. So here's where we are. Whether it's processed oils, deli meats, artificial sweeteners, or caffeine overload, these aren't just about food. They're factors in your freedom, in how well you move, how far you can go, and how confidently you walk through your day. Let's keep that momentum going, because in the final part of this video, we want to bring it all together and look at how a few small changes today can lead to stronger, more stable legs for years to come. You've made it this far, and that tells me something powerful about you. You're not someone who just wants to get by. You're someone who wants to feel strong, who wants to understand your body, and who's willing to make changes to stay independent, mobile, and full of life. And that's exactly what this is all about. When we talk about foods that are silently killing your legs, we're not being dramatic. We're being honest. Because your legs, your strength, your balance, your ability to walk, to carry, to climb stairs, to dance, even to stand, they depend on what you feed them every single day. The truth is, you can do leg lifts and stretches, walk around the block, or even lift light weights at home. But if your diet is still filled with inflammatory foods, your legs will always be fighting an uphill battle. It's like watering a garden with one hand and pouring poison with the other. You might see a little progress, but the damage is still happening underneath. I remember having a conversation with George, a 75-year-old Navy veteran from Michigan. He was sharp, determined, and walked every morning. But he couldn't understand why his legs still felt stiff, why he had to stop and sit down after just 15 minutes. We sat down together and looked at his meals. Breakfast was usually toast with margarine and a diet soda. Lunch was a microwave frozen dinner. Dinner was often takeout, fried chicken or pizza. Nothing outrageous, nothing excessive, but all of it was packed with preservatives, processed oils, sodium, and additives, the perfect storm for inflammation. George didn't need a new workout routine. He needed a new relationship with food. He started small. He swapped the margarine for avocado. He made scrambled eggs instead of frozen waffles. He replaced his soda with lemon water. Within weeks, he told me, I didn't realize how much food was slowing me down until I started feeling light again. His legs didn't magically turn into an athlete's, but they stopped fighting against him. He moved easier. He felt stronger. He got his confidence back. That's what I want for you. Because your legs aren't gone. They're still yours. They just need your support, your care, your attention, your willingness to choose better today, not someday. And here's something else to remember. You don't have to be perfect. You're not on a diet. You're not punishing yourself. You're choosing to eat for strength, for energy, and for freedom. You're choosing foods that help you rise from the chair without pain, walk without fear, and climb stairs without holding your breath. You deserve that. So let's pause for a second. Take a breath. Think about your day. What's one meal you can change today? One small thing you can swap. Maybe canned soup for a homemade one, white toast for whole grain, or that second cup of coffee for herbal tea. That one change could be the start of something much bigger. Because what you choose to eat today doesn't just affect your weight or your blood pressure. It affects how steady you feel when you get out of bed in the morning. It affects whether your knees carry you to the mailbox or whether you hesitate. It affects whether you're walking confidently down the aisle at your granddaughter's wedding or sitting on the sidelines watching. And that's what makes this so powerful. You have the ability to change that future, not through big, complicated diets or expensive supplements, but through simple, thoughtful choices. Removing the foods that inflame your joints and muscles, choosing meals that nourish you instead of slow you down, and listening, really listening, to what your body tells you after you eat. If your legs feel heavy, stiff, or sore after certain meals, that's not just coincidence. That's your body talking. So listen, respect it, and respond with love. That might look like making your own soup instead of opening a can, swapping out that white bread for something whole grain, letting go of deli meats and trying freshly cooked chicken or tuna with lemon and olive oil, drinking water instead of another soda. These aren't sacrifices. These are investments in your freedom, in your independence, in your ability to move through life with ease. And if you've been feeling like it's too late, or like too much damage has already been done, let me stop you right there. It's not too late. Your body wants to heal. Your muscles want to grow. Your legs want to move. And the moment you start treating them with kindness and care, they will start responding. Maybe not overnight, but soon. With every good meal, every gentle stretch, every walk around the block, progress will come. Strength will return. And you'll feel it. Not just in your legs, but in your heart, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you live. So now I want to hear from you. Have you made changes to your diet that helped your legs feel stronger or your joints less stiff? Do you have a favorite swap or a tip to share? Leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your story could help someone else take their first step. And if you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe to VITAGOHEALTH, and share it with someone you love. Someone who might be silently struggling and just needs a little guidance and a little hope. Remember, this journey isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, being aware, and choosing to take care of the legs that have carried you through a lifetime and still have many steps left to go. Happy birthday to you at every age. May your meals be healing, your steps be steady, and your days be full of joy. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of those beautiful legs.